All right. All right, we are live. Let me share this real quick to my personal page. All right, you shared everywhere else? All right, hello everybody. Thank you for watching. Today we have Ace Baker on with us, and we're going to talk about what took place yesterday. Yesterday I went on live, and we had a couple people call in, and they gave us their opinion what took place yesterday. So, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and bring Ace Baker in with us, so we can talk about what took place yesterday. And from his point of view, he actually did a video yesterday that was very informative, that was right on point, in my opinion. So, go ahead and bring him on. Hello, Mr. Baker.
What's going on, Will? How are you, brother?
What's going on? I see you're traveling.
Yeah, on the road.
Yeah.
My life story.
Yeah. So, hey, I saw your video yesterday, and man, it was very powerful. And when I was looking at the video, the first thing I was thinking about, I said, man, you know what? There is a revolution that's going on in America, and I think this thing is bigger than any of us can imagine. And I think it's actually bigger than any of us actually anticipated it getting to at this point. So if you would, just go ahead and give us your take again, just like a recap on your video from what you did last night, and if you don't mind.
The event yesterday was supposed to start at noon. When we got there, it was about 9:45 in the morning, almost 10 o'clock in the morning. So we were there a few hours early, and by the time we got there, there had already been a lot of violence beforehand. Before we even arrived on scene, before me and my organization, my group, even got on the ground, we were watching live feeds, and we thought we were early. But there were people there at the park. They were there at 0600, 0630, and the event didn't start till noon. So we thought us showing up 2 hours. We hadn't been on the ground probably 15 minutes, and the governor called a state of emergency, and they started calling in the National Guard. We were told by the city police department that we had 15 minutes to disperse from the area, from the park, and we followed the order. We did exactly what we were asked to do. So we'd probably been sitting there almost an hour, probably 6 or 7 blocks away from the park itself. And I get a phone call from somebody that's a member of American Warrior Revolution, saying that they were in a parking garage. It was a woman. She was with her husband and her son, and there was fighting going on in the parking garage, and she couldn't leave. She was trapped in. So me and the 26 other people that were with me decided to go the 6 blocks to the parking garage she was at and try to help her out so she could leave with her family. We got to the garage and got all that taken care of, and on our way back out to the parking lots where we were parked at, we encountered crazy amounts of opposition. We encountered Black Lives Matter and Black Bloc and Redneck Revolt, some small factions and groups of Antifa, but mostly it was Black Lives Matter and Black Bloc.
So let me ask you a question. So
sure.
The night before, I think it was Friday night, there was a group of people walking around, and I don't know if you were among those group of people, but they were walking around with torches.
Saw that. I saw that on Facebook.
Yeah, so I just want to get your opinion on it. So when I saw when I saw the group of people that was walking around with torches, the first thing that came to my mind was, back in, like the 50s and the 40s and probably some of the late 60s.
Mob.
Yeah, it looked like a lynch mob. And a lot of people associated that with, like with the KKK. So right. I can understand how a lot of people would probably perceive it as taking it completely wrong. One question that I had was, whose idea was it to give all of these people with torches to walk through the city? Because, I mean, my goodness, that's exactly what it looked like. And I don't think that everybody was there that was holding a torch was probably racist. Not at all. The problem is that, when you have a few people, the media, all they're going to pull out is the part that they want, where somebody, screaming, white power, or, we need to make sure that the white race stays pure, and, white lives matter. Even when they say those things, it's, that's what the media pulls out. And it could be 5 people out of 1,000 people, but those 5 people say it, then the media and everyone else just assume that everybody there is for the same reason. Why do you think they walked the night before, with all those torches?
To make a statement.
To make a statement.
There was, oh yeah, in the statement that you had, what you observed is probably very, very accurate. I can tell you this: the Unite the Right event had a lot of factions of white supremacy inside of that element, inside of those permits, inside of that Unite the Right event. There were a lot of organizations that are absolutely, without a doubt, with no questions asked, racist organizations. What the media portrayed wrong is that everybody else that was there was also racist, and that wasn't at all. I mean, as a patriot organization, yesterday we were called neo-Nazis, we were called fascists and racist, and we were called all of these things, none of which we are. Here's the thing. When you have a group on the far left, extreme left, or the progressives of the left, have groups on the far right, what they're calling the right-wingers, or all, these other organizations, they are flip sides of the same coin, right? I mean, right. They believe in the same exact thing. They just don't understand it yet. What we went for is to be able to give both organizations, to give both sides, the extreme left and the extreme right, a way to use their voices without the fear of being assaulted by the other side. I told several members of Black Lives Matter yesterday, when they were calling us Nazis and racists and all this, that we had good conversation, good dialogue back and forth, that we were there to protect their right to use their freedom of speech, and we would have defended them. We would have stood behind them. We would have protected them if they were being assaulted by the other side. We weren't there to show favoritism to the Unite the Right event. We weren't there to show favoritism to the Black Lives Matter event. We were there as a buffer between the two, so both could be able to communicate their views without being assaulted or the risk of being assaulted. So that's what the Patriot movement is about. But when you watch the mainstream news media, Fox and CNN and all these other groups, all these other mainstream propaganda news machine people that are getting together and saying that, like, everybody was there. The mayor of Charlottesville yesterday said the Patriot movement should be disgusted. These men weren't patriots. These men came to our city with guns and promoting race segregation. Absolutely wrong. To be able to bunch us in or put us with these organizations that had this Unite the Right event isn't why we were there. It wasn't our message. It wasn't the reason that we drove hundreds of, or some of us thousands of miles to be there. We were there to defend all of the sides and give everybody their right to use their First Amendment freedom of speech, God-given right. We were there.
Yeah, sometimes I have a gentleman call in, and he's completely against, America uniting. He's trying to create his own indigenous land here in California. And I told him, I asked him, I'm not trying to get off topic here, it's just really quick. I asked him, why is he trying to shut down other people's Facebook pages because he disagreed. And I told him the exact same thing you said, that I would go against anybody that's trying to shut your freedom of speech down. Now, everyone should have this freedom of speech as long as you're not trying to incite or trying to bring violence to people. And you know what? And every time I had a conversation with you, I've never received that from you. I've never got that from you. And right now, the state of America is in such a, I think, it's such a like a turmoil that we're about to like boil over. It's about to just pop. It's about to blow up. Right. And the media is not helping it. The media is doing, it's like they're trying to really push the button. It's like we all got chips on our shoulders and they're steady pushing that chip. I mean, they're really trying to push everybody to the edge. And Donald Trump yesterday, when he came out and he spoke against it, he didn't come on there and he didn't say, and I said this in my video yesterday, he didn't say that, he didn't call out specifically white supremacists that you need to stop. You need to stand down, stop being hateful. But at the same time, when a BLM was running around acting all crazy, Obama didn't come out and tell BLM, stop shooting the police officers, stand down, stop being violent. He didn't tell them that at all. He basically encouraged them. And the same thing when the police officer was shot, he didn't want to paint the White House in blue colors at all. Right. He disrespected the police officers completely. And just to touch on that, I know yesterday you were talking about the police officers that were there. Some of them were standing down being crazy. You know what? It reminded me of Berkeley all over again. It
It
reminded
was
me of
exactly.
Berkeley. But you know what?
That,
Let me just say this real quick, then we get your response on it. I've talked to a lot of police officers, and to be honest with you, I don't think it's per se the police officers themselves. And really, when the police officers don't do the right thing, I think they kind of cower down to their bosses from telling them to stand down and not to protect the people. Because a lot of that went on in Berkeley until the feds showed up, and then they actually started doing their job. But not every police officer is like that.
Agreed. They are given directives by men who sign their paychecks, and they follow those orders. There was a stand down. It's fact. It's fact that the mayor gave the chief of police a stand down order. See, what happened was originally they had had the permits for the stand for the Stand United event. I'm sorry, the Unite the Right event, and then the permits were pulled 2 days before the event, and then the day before the event, a federal judge reinstated the permit. At that point in time, the mayor told the chief of police, and this is absolute fact, go check it out for yourselves, have the officer stand down. If the officers stand down and we allow this violence to occur, we allow these things to happen, we incite or encourage violence of either side, then the National Guard can come in, we can shut the event down, and it has to take place. And that's exactly what happened. Just like in Berkeley, these police officers were in full riot gear. I had several police officers on multiple occasions yesterday tell me, we can't help you. I had one guy that was hit in the head with a brick that was on my team. His head was split open. He ended up getting 6 stitches above his ear. I told the police officer, I need an ambulance. My guy needs an ambulance here. He said, we're not here to help you. I said, you're telling me that you're not going to send an ambulance for my guy who his entire face is bleeding. He's got this huge gas above his right ear, and the police officer told me specifically, we're not helping you. We're not calling you.
See, that's crazy. So that does stuff like that is going to just bring people when they show up to these events, and then we have the BLM, the terrorist group BLM, the terrorist group Antifa show up to these rallies. Some of these states, soon as the alt-right, whatever you want to call it, the alt-right whites, the national white nationalists, even the white supremacists, whatever you have it, soon as they have a rally like this in an open carry state, and then they show up to this rally, and you have these idiots show up this way, and the police officers don't do anything, you have the right to defend yourself. It's going to be all-out war. And the police officers, at some point, they need to arrest the governor if the governor is preventing them from doing their job, from upholding the law. My opinion. They need to go to the source.
Well, I had several people that sent me messages the last 2 days on Facebook saying that, you know what, I know in the situation that we were in, our back was against the wall. People were throwing fist-sized rocks at us, throwing pieces of bricks or entire bricks at us. We had the right to use deadly force in that situation. None of us unholstered our guns. None of us pointed our guns. We had the legal justification at that point to protect ourselves with force, and we didn't. And people are sending messages, well, you cowered down, or I'm disappointed that you didn't stand your ground. In that situation, I had 26 people with me, and there was 200 opposition that were standing in front of us. If this would have happened in another town, in another situation, in a different group, exactly what you just said, that could have been the next shot of the first shot that's heard around the world. Something like that is going to occur in one of these liberal cities as long as police chiefs are telling his officers not to act, not to be involved. Because when that man was hit with the brick that was with us, there was a line of police officers in riot gear that were no more than 30 feet away. Saw the entire thing happen. We couldn't move. We had to get this guy taken care of. So my medic started working on this guy till he was bandaged up and ready to move. And when I told the police officer that we needed an ambulance, and for him to tell us that he couldn't help us, how shameful. How absolutely shameful.
Yeah.
I don't doubt that there are good police officers there in Charlottesville, Virginia, but I didn't meet any. As a good police officer, you took an oath to protect the Constitution, to protect and serve the people inside of your community, and I didn't meet a single officer yesterday that was doing that. They were following a political agenda, but not following the law or the oath that they had taken, and that's that hurts.
Yeah, I mean, it's really crazy. When we saw that happen in Berkeley, and the police officer, even the police officers were getting rocks thrown at them. They were getting these M80s with bottles in them thrown at them, and they're just
Right.
standing down. And you know what? I think some of it, and you know, the police officers I talk to, a lot of them can't come out and talk about it politically about different things, but the different views, because they're supposed to be neutral. They're
right.
supposed to be neutral in all of this, right? And they know for a fact that people that are on the right actually support the police officers. I mean, we support them 100%. Well, okay, 90%, because some of them are bad, okay? But for the most part, police officers know this. We support the police officers. We support the military. We support our first responders.
Yeah.
And then for them to stand down and allow this to happen, it looks bad. And the reason why I think they're doing this, now I've never had a police officer tell me this, but I'm sitting there thinking, why are they standing down? Why? I think because, for the most part, because everybody know that we support the police officers. And as soon as the police officers start arresting Antifa and BLM at these events, they're going to start screaming, see, the police officers are racist. They're only helping the right. That's exactly what they're going to scream. And they're trying to avoid that. And that's my opinion. They're trying to avoid that as much as possible, even though it's making them look bad, because we can be mad at them. We can be upset with them. But tomorrow when we wake up, we know for a fact that we're still going to respect the police officers. And they know this. But the BLM that's trying to kill them, Antifa, who's trying to harm them, they know they're not going to change. They know this. And I think that's part of the reason.
I've always said, Will, when police chiefs start making decisions based on who the mayor is or a political ideology, they no longer become police officers. They become politicians themselves. And that's a really sad situation when a police chief says, hey, we're going to stand down in this event because we don't want the left to think that we are what they think we are. We're going to stop enforcing law so they start to like us. And the reality is that those extreme leftists are never going to like or defend or support police officers. They're never going to change the way that they think, no matter how few they take to jail. What happened yesterday, I didn't see a single situation where any of our guys were violent or name-calling or discouraging or threatening anyone else. We were the ones that were assaulted, and we were simply there to defend everyone. My biggest problem with yesterday was that freedom-loving, proud American patriots were put into a group that has nothing to do with us, simply because we were there to help. And I want to, when you reached out to me to talk about this, I was excited to get on your show again because I love talking to you anyway. But we the American people have to continue to say, you know what, I'm not going to be brainwashed, or I'm not going to listen to these mainstream propaganda news machines anymore.
Exactly.
I'm going to get my real news from what's really going on, from people who are there, people who are involved, and just know that if you were a freedom-loving, proud, flag-waving American patriot yesterday, then today you should still be a freedom-loving, proud, flag-waving American today. Don't let what the propaganda news machine media, don't let what Fox News and CNN News discourage you from being involved in these events. We have to continue to keep our foot on the gas and have to continue to stand up for what's right. That's not necessarily for us, Will. That's for all the generations that follow behind us.
Exactly. So let me ask you, how close were you, or how far were you from the terrorists plowing down people?
We were the next street over. The opposite block to the north of where that occurred. We were there, and that's the parking lot that we were parked at when that happened.
So tell us when you first got aware that something was going on. Could you hear screams? Could you hear what was the first? How did you find out?
So we had just left. We had pulled out of the parking lot, and in the parking lot we were in, we had the same thing. We were trying to pull out. Again, you had this mob of 200 people in the parking lot that were surrounding our vehicles. They were throwing rocks. My truck is banged in where they threw several rocks at my truck, and all this is going on around us. We had just pulled out of the parking lot. There was 7 vehicles that were with our group, and one of them was a silver car. I probably hadn't made it a good mile and a half, and I start getting phone calls that there's a news report out about somebody in a gray car running over people. So I'm calling all of the people that were involved in our group that were with us. Where are you at? Have you seen anybody? Did you have any problem getting out? You didn't run over anybody, that kind of thing. Because I'm thinking we just left that area, making sure that it wasn't us that was involved. So we had already left, and come to find out, all of you notice when all that happened, it was one of us that did it initially. It was one of the conservative nut jobs.
Yep, exactly.
That was the one that did it. Yeah, right?
Yep.
But when they find out this was a registered Democrat that actually ran over his own people, which is usually what happens in these situations, my mindset at ease to make sure that it wasn't one of us that was involved.
You know what? And when the media was first saying that it was a Trump supporter,
right?
I mean, the media just got it and they ran with it because that's what they wanted people to believe. And even after they ran with that story from the get-go, majority of the people that hear otherwise later say, well, you're lying because the big media, news media, told me the truth. They told me that it was one of you Trump supporters that did it. And all you Trump supporters are hateful, racist, white people that want to destroy America. And that's the way they were pushing. They even interviewed a guy that was there and he was saying that was a Trump supporter that did this. And when it finally came out that it was one of them, an Antifa member, running down people, and he thought he was running down Trump supporters. See, that's how crazy these people are. And the only reason why he thought he was running down Trump supporters because they didn't have on all black, they didn't have on the mask, and he didn't see any Black Lives Matter signs apparently. But he just saw white people and he started running them down. So all these white people there, they're supporting BLM, this terrorist group, and this BLM group is the first one to tell them that they need to get in the back, or they're not even allowed to go into a student union that I've been told about in LA. How crazy is that? Why are these people even supporting this terrorist group when they're not even allowed to be in the group per se? I mean, this is crazy.
The leftist agenda. I mean, it's always been the agenda of the left to divide the American people because divided, right, we're more easily conquered. That's what's going on in this country. All of this left divide, Black Lives Matter, Antifa, all of these different groups are formed by the government to create division between us. Look, the biggest fear of the United States government is that at one point in time, all of the American people will unite as one and come together because together we're strong. Together, the American people, the fourth branch of government, has the power to be able to push our will on the government. If we're divided, the government can push their will against us. And that is what big government is all about. That's what total control, controlling your health care, controlling what food you get, controlling all of these things, your education that the liberal agenda wants. They can do that as long as they create division. It's no big secret that people on the left are financially funding these organizations, Antifa and Black Lives Matter. They want them to go into towns. They want them to start riots and burn cities and create chaos because it creates a division between race. And that, that benefits the leftist agenda. It doesn't benefit the conservative agenda who seriously want small government.
Yeah, exactly.
Who want checks and balances.
Exactly. You know what? And there's been other videos today with leftists going out in Charlotte. They're walking, protesting, calling white people racist again, and saying all of this stuff. And they have signs already. They have these immaculate signs with the walking around the next day after talking about this event. I couldn't believe it when I'm sitting there watching it. So they are so well organized. They are ready the next day in any state to march against true Americans, people that love this country. They are so organized. They got so much money that it's ridiculous. And for the life of me, I'm like, everybody keeps saying it's George Soros. I've never seen a bank statement. I've never seen a deposit that George Soros actually deposits this money into any leftist liberal group. I'm not saying that he's not doing it because it's been known that he has done it. But I'm just saying personally, I've never seen it. My point is, whoever is funding them, and I don't believe it's just George Soros, but whoever's funding them, they're funding them to the point to where every state they're waiting silently by to go out and protest, to go out and be violent. These people are being violent everywhere you go. It's ridiculous.
I can tell you this because we were there outside of the protest area, outside of the streets that were blocked off in Charlottesville, Virginia yesterday. there were 12 to 14 buses, tour buses, lined up side by side right outside of the fenced-in area. I mean, like they're like those, like Greyhound buses, but they don't say Greyhound on the side. They don't say anything. Dude, it was bus after bus after bus after bus after bus.
The big
it was
charter
parked on
buses.
the side of the big charter buses. Exactly right. Those, you rent them out for the day or whatever. At least 10 to 12 of them, maybe even upwards of 14 to 15. And I don't know how many people fit on one bus. I don't know how many people they can put on one of those buses.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, if I'm not mistaken, they get like 56 people on each bus, if not more.
But it was crazy. I mean, just half of the entire shoulder was taken up because for a good, eighth of a mile was bus, parked behind bus, parked behind bus, parked behind bus, parked behind bus. It was something crazy. And we talked about it going in. We're like, wow, I wonder what those are for.
Yeah,
and,
you know what? It's absolutely crazy. So that's my point. They are so well organized. They have people on standby. It's like a military. This coup that a lot of liberals don't want to admit that's taking place. This coup that's taking place in America that's going against our president. They have a military. It's a silent military, and you guys saw it. You guys saw it. That they can call at any moment and say report here. And they get on a bus and then they take them to wherever they're going to go for them to be violent. They're not there to. They're not there to be protest peacefully, because if all these BLM and Antifa members never showed up yesterday, there wouldn't have been a single incident, not one. When I was in Berkeley, if Antifa and BLM never showed up, there wouldn't have been a single incident. Every time I go to these rallies and there's a whole bunch of white people there, I never have an issue. And then they talk about, well, they don't say anything to you because you're a token. I mean, seriously, I don't go there because I'm black. I go there because I respect and I love this country. And they get upset with me because I do that. And then what really gets me is that these people, they complain. And it is a lot of black people, and it's a lot of Hispanic, and it's even white people that complain about America. They're not coming up with solutions. All they want to do is fight. They want to fight, and they want to keep doing this division. It's sickening.
That's right. It's right. And it's exactly what the liberal left wants. Think about it. It benefits the liberal agenda right now in this country to be able to create all of this division and to be able to bust these individuals into protest and to cause riots. They don't care how many people they hurt, what kind of destruction it causes, what kind of violence, what happens to police officers. All they care about is showing this country in chaos. That way they can say, well, Donald Trump is having all these problems. Donald Trump did this or Donald Trump did that. Think about it. Follow the money. Follow the money, Will.
Yeah, absolutely. They constantly do that. We're really, even Fox News, like you mentioned. But Fox News, I didn't see Fox News say it, but Fox News kept saying they were talking about these white supremacists, the alt-right, and then they're calling out asking Donald Trump to denounce the right.
Yeah.
That is his base. He's a Republican. He ran on a Republican ticket, which is on the right. And then you got even some of these runner Republicans telling him that he needs to denounce the right. How ignorant is that? That's stupid. If he denounces the right, he's gonna be doing that to me, because I consider myself on the right. I don't consider myself a runner Republican. I consider myself a Christian conservative that is on the right. And these liberals, they support everything that's bad, and then they coming out talking about, well, Trump didn't denounce the white supremacists. Just because you have one or two people show up to something, and the media let's find the craziest white person here, that if they're holding up a neo-Nazi sign, that's better, that's great. And if they're not finding one, I wouldn't be surprised. Let's plant one. Right. Let's plant one. And I wouldn't be surprised if they're doing it. Go ahead.
Was it any of the Patriots that mowed over people in the crowd, killing one, injuring 20? Was that an American Patriot that did that? Were there anybody else that were conservatives that were there that were throwing rocks or creating violence or creating destruction of property? You go to any of these events. Was it the conservatives that burned down Ferguson, Missouri, or that started a riot in Baltimore?
No.
Show me the situations in current day America where our groups, our conservative organizations are getting together and creating destruction, terror, chaos, violence to American citizens. You know what? And it all comes back to these individual cities. You won't see what happened in Charlottesville, West Virginia yesterday in a conservative-run city. You're not going to see those things.
No.
You
Yeah, you're
don't have it.
absolutely right. I'm glad you brought that up because the majority of the stuff that takes place happens in a democratically ran city. It is,
Berkeley, Portland. Look at
yes,
Portland.
every single
Yep.
one of them. Every single one of
Right.
them because they, it's like the Democratic leaders there are helping organizing these criminals. I mean, it's organized crime to the fullest, right in our face, and they act as if we don't even see it or recognize it. I mean,
Chicago's going to break.
so let me
Chicago's going to
ask.
break murder records this year.
Yeah, absolutely.
How long has it been run by by the Democrats?
So let me ask you a question. So after this taking place yesterday with this terrorist mowing down his own people, because apparently they don't even care about their own people.
Right.
And you know what? And I hate to say it like that because we're making a difference between this group of people that call themselves American and this other group of people that call themselves American, as if it's different. But truly, this country has been split. Look like we lost him there. We'll get him back up.
I'm back.
I mean,
Sorry.
it looks like we truly have this country is split in half. So, what do you think is going to take place in America that after what happened yesterday?
I think there needs to be more of us. If there was 1,000 of us at the event yesterday, none of that death, destruction, or terror would have occurred. If people stop listening and watching Facebook videos, and people stop being involved in watching what happens on mainstream news media, and actually get involved in what's happening in their cities and states and towns, look, nothing would have happened in Berkeley if there were 1,000 freedom-loving, flag-waving Americans there. Berkeley 1, Berkeley 2, or Berkeley 3. All of that destruction in Portland that happened a week ago, if there were 1,000 patriots in there, we have to get off of our couches. We have to start being involved. We have to start actually being involved and saying, instead of being the one that's griping about what's happening, make a solution to fix it. Join some of these organizations, some of these groups, some of these chapters. Get out here and make your voices heard by standing. I got 1,000 bags of tea, Will, to take to federal courthouse tomorrow because of what's happening in Judge Navarro's courtroom, the federal court judge that's overseeing the Bundy trial in Nevada. Look, remind them that we, the people, are in charge of our government. The government elected officials, they work for us, Will.
Right.
They're our employees, and we forget that. And they forget that. That's
Yes.
what's most important.
Yes,
they think that because they're federal court judges or because they're United States senators or congressmen, they can do what they want without zero repercussions. Well, the repercussion is you have to answer to the American people. That's the way the check and balance system was meant to work.
Exactly. They've actually made themselves kings and queens. And what's really crazy is the people go right along with it as if they have more importance than we do.
Right.
And that's the state of America. That's what we're in right now. But you know what? A lot of people are starting to wake up to it. A lot of people are starting to get so frustrated. And that's the reason why you had this alt-right rally yesterday. That's the reason why you had it, because a lot of people have it. And you know what? I was going through my Facebook feed, and over a year and a half ago, before I started doing videos, I was creating memes talking about the attack on white people in America. And a lot of people, because it's not anything that I just started seeing, anything new. But what's really crazy is I see it. There is an attack. And the reason why there's an attack specifically on white people, specifically white males, is because they want to deem white people as evil. And the reason why they want to do that, in my opinion, is because they truly want to get rid of and they want to attack Christianity. These liberals are no different than ISIS. I mean, look at Kathy Griffin. No different than ISIS. Look at this guy mowing people down with his vehicle yesterday. No different than ISIS. These people on the left, they support ISIS like never before, and they're trying to bring them into the country. Why? Because they want to get rid of Christianity and white people. And if they figure that if they can get rid of as many white people as they can, then they can have an easier path on getting rid of Christianity. But we have an attack of this Islamic conversion of the world that's coming, and people don't even realize it.
Absolutely agree, man. You're on point. The more ways we've never, I don't know of any other time, going all the way back through American history, when Americans have been so divided. You remember September the 12th, 2001, the day after the 9/11 World Trade Center attacks. how united all of America was. It didn't matter what your race, color, religion, background, sex orientation. None of that mattered. Today, in 2017, we are divided over everything.
Yes.
Where you live, what you drive, how tall are you, your race, your color, where
What's your
you're from,
sexuality?
your sex, everything.
Yes.
We're more divided today than we've ever been. It's not just division over race. We're divided over everything. And with that being said, look back and see how all of these divisions started and were created, and it all goes to big government. It all goes to people who were trying to understand it. We divide and conquer. The more divided we are, the easier we are to conquer as an American people.
Exactly. I mean, we all understand the fact that as long as they can keep us divided, then they'll sit on their plateau and they'll still be considered kings and queens, and we'll just be pawns on the board for them to do whatever they want with.
Yep. One world government, man.
It's exactly what it is, and we're right following to it. So let me ask you something. So do you know who organized the torch event the night before?
I don't know if it was that Jason Kessler or exactly who put that together. That was news to us. We were still driving in when I saw the live feeds about that going on the night before the event. Had no idea about it. But again, we weren't in all the groups of the actual white supremacy groups that were there. We weren't in their chats or their organization. We had no idea. We didn't know that was going down. We talked about coming into town that night and seeing if we were needed there. I guess they ended up getting dispersed and going away and getting some sleep. I have no idea, but no, I have no idea who actually put that organization together, that event together. I don't know.
Yeah, I would be curious if there's a white supremacist that actually put that together. I'm curious if he or she would be willing to come on and talk to me about it. Because I would really like to understand, or I like to understand, and I would like to know why they feel the way they feel, and what do they think they're going to achieve? Because the country is not going to go back to that time period where they believe. And I've seen so many videos with white people. I just saw a video. I don't even know the guy's name. The first time I saw him, I mean, he got crazy tattoos. It almost looked like prison tattoos. And he's on there talking about, I'm not a white supremacist. I never will be, and I never have been. And he said, I'm not. And he said, I denounce these. And he's a white guy, So there's been multiple people come out and speak that. But then you have the liberals and the liberal left constantly talking about all white people are racist. Why? Because they're born white. And then you notice the white people, they've been constantly targeting them. And in my meme that I was talking about like a year and a half ago, it was because they were attacking white people, saying that white people have white privilege. As if I don't have the privilege to have what we're doing here, to come on here and voice my opinion, to ask you questions and get your point of view. I don't have that privilege. I don't have the privilege to get a job. I don't have the privilege to own a vehicle. I don't have a privilege to own a home. I don't have a privilege to do anything, according to the liberal left media, because all the white people have the privilege. I mean, that's completely insane to me. And they're pushing this narrative to the point to where they're trying to create a civil war. And I'm constantly going to speak out as long as I can against it, because it's complete lies what the left is doing, and the liberal media, this machine that the liberal have, they're using it to the fullest extent, and they're convincing these easily brainwashed people that it's true, and it's not.
The best thing that can happen in this country is everybody turns their TV off. Turn it off. Watching movies, all that, but stop watching these news channels. Stop watching these mainstream news media who are feeding you full of lies. Go out. If you would have been in Charlottesville, Virginia yesterday, all of these people that are curious as to us, the American patriot, being racist, come out and watch an event. Watch what we do. Watch how we defend everyone's rights. It has nothing to do with race. But if you watch your Fox Newses or your CNN, did you know CNN has a lower watch rate now than Nick at Night?
Yes, I do.
Nick at Night outrates CNN.
Yeah.
Right? How ridiculous is that?
Yeah, I saw that.
It's a good start. Start turning these mainstream news medias off. Just stop watching them. There's a lot of good guys out there like Will Johnson, Outlaw Morgan, Tommy Lauren. There's so many good media sources that are on social media that are just telling how it is, giving you truth news. And with that, man, that's a great start for all of us to come together.
Absolutely. And you know what? Since I've been doing this, I've been getting such a great positive response. Now, I get every now and then, I get these people that come on and they'll say all this hateful stuff, calling me Uncle Tom, calling me a sellout.
Right.
They're calling me every hateful, racist name. I even learned some that I didn't even know about, that they're calling me. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah.
That's how ignorant these people are. They get
Yeah.
upset. I mean, they're upset because here it is, you and I talking. We're getting along. We both love this country. We both support our president, and we support the police officers. We support law and order. We support the military. We support our first responders. And these liberals left, they don't like that.
Right.
We support the flag.
Well,
I had the flag behind me, and they don't like it. They would rather burn it. And like you said earlier, you don't see conservatives burning the American flag. And every time you have these liberals left media groups, BLM, Antifa, when they go out and they have their own special rallies, along with these women with the kitty cat hats, you do not see, not a single time, not one time, zero, where conservatives have gone out there and thrown rocks, try to harm people, run someone down with a vehicle. You do not see it, because if it was happening, the media would post it constantly. And okay, so let's give an example. BLM, Black Lives Matter. Now, if the white supremacists, they don't get along with it, they don't agree with it, but you don't ever see them even coming out, throwing rocks, standing up, fighting against them. You don't see it.
Yep. Will, I remember when you went to a rally in Los Angeles, and you guys were separated by the LAPD. On one side of the street was Antifa, and Black Lives Matter, and on your side of the street was all conservatives and patriots. On the other side of the street, there was Mexico flags, there were Antifa flags,
there was a Russian flag,
Russian flags. That's right, the USSR flags. And on your side of the street where you were standing, everybody was wearing red, white, and blue. Everybody was carrying flags. Everybody was proud. Well, that's all I need to know right there.
Yeah, you know what? Exactly. You know what? That was awesome. And you know what was really crazy? The police officers that were standing there in between us. Guess who they end up getting in a fight with?
Obviously.
BLM and Antifa.
Yep.
And what was really crazy, let me say this. What was really crazy is when they started fighting the police officers, we had people on our side, on the American side, almost jump in. They help the police officers, and the police officers, you guys hold back. We got it. Because they knew we were going to help them. They knew it. So when it comes down, when this all hits the fan, because it's coming, you know what, and I don't want it to come, but it is coming. When this all hit the fans, the men and women in blue, they need to know that we support them 100%. Now, you're going to have some that are in there that probably, I don't know how they're in the police department. It just blows my mind. And they support these liberal left crazy media people. I don't understand it. And these liberals, for me, it's just mind blowing I can't even comprehend that, because they know for a fact that they would just put them out there and they'll let them die if they could, because they're trying to remove the police department because they're completely lawless. But once it all hits the fan, because it's coming, and I hate to say it, and I'm not trying to be a doomsday person or anything, but after yesterday, anyone that's watching, you can guarantee that people are getting armed up right now. I mean, I'm telling you, it is happening. And a lot of my videos, I tell people you need to get ready. And I don't tell people they need to get ready so they can be violent, because conservatives, we're never the aggressors. We're never the aggressors. We always try to protect ourselves. We never go out and aggress and try to cause harm. What you see with these Antifa and BLM and all these other hateful groups, Black Bloc and whatever have it, you can think of. All of them doing that. So you have to get ready to protect yourself, your friends, and your family. That's what it's about.
Absolutely, man. And in the end, that's what we all should be doing, is understanding that we're in a point in time in our country that I've been to all of these events the last few months. You know, I'm doing this Patriot thing full time now. I don't know. I don't know if there's a point of no return. I don't know. I don't know if I have the faith in this country that we can come back from where we're currently at. I hope so, because just like you, I don't want that to happen. I believe in government. I want government to work. I'm not an anarchist. I just believe in a constitutional government that's built for and built by we the people. So where we're at right now, can we beat it? I don't know. We're damn sure not going to stop trying.
Yeah.
We're damn sure not going to stop going to events or stop being a part or continuing to try to push and grow our patriot family. But we're making progress. I just don't know if we're making enough progress.
Yeah, I just don't like the fact that when they had the people come out there with the torches, that didn't send a good signal. My opinion.
It damn sure
and
did.
And then when they had, and the media, they're gonna find even in that group, they're gonna find the craziest people there, and they're gonna and someone posted pictures where someone was holding a Nazi flag there even, and that's what they're gonna report on. Now, let me say this, and I've always said this: if white supremacists, if they want to go out and they want to hold a rally, they should have the freedom to do so. And I will fight for them to have that freedom, as long as they're not trying to incite violence. It's the same thing with the other hateful group, BLM. When they go out there and they want to do their hateful marches, they should be able to do it. And I'm going to fight for the right for them to do it, as long as they're not trying to bring incite violence on people. But the problem is, we don't get that. We don't get that. When we go to rallies, they want to fight, because they feel that they have to fight. They feel that they're fighting fascism, when in reality they are the one that's fascist.
Right, they're trying to shut us down because they don't agree with what we have to say. That how much more fascist does it get? If we lose our First Amendment right, then what else do we have as American citizens? Nothing else is going to be able to stand up. We can't defend ourselves for any time. So that's where we have to come as a country to understand that. I may not agree with you on everything, Will, but I agree with your right to believe that away. I agree with your right to be able to speak that away. Same, vice versa. That's the reason we were there in Charlottesville yesterday.
Exactly.
That's
exactly.
The whole point.
Yeah, you know what? And that's what everybody should stand up to fight for our freedoms and our freedom of speech. But, there's actually a movement on the left right now to where, they say that when the Constitution, it says the government shall not prevent you from having freedom of speech. The left said, well, we're not the government, we're the people. We can prevent you from having freedom of speech. And that's their agenda. But see, at the same time, we're fighting for them to have their freedom of speech, but they don't want us to have ours. I mean, they literally believe that. They literally think that. And I have yet to call anybody that's on the left, any Democrat, any liberal, any socialist, any communist, come on and tell me that said, no, Will, you should have your freedom to speak. But they don't do that because they want to shut you down. That's the main reason why they go out here and they try to shut down Facebook pages, because they don't want you to have your voice. That's why they try to shut down YouTube channels, Twitters, etc. I mean, there's issues right now. Diamond and Silk, they did a video where YouTube is shutting them down for their monetization. Why? Because they were bringing in the income. Because they're bringing in income, they want to shut them down because they know that's how you hurt them. And like for these big multinational media outlets, the best way that we can hurt them is to stop watching, like you said. And then, I've seen people post a list of all the sponsors for like CNN and MSNBC and stuff like that. We should reach out to those sponsors saying, you know what, if you're going to continuously support these anti-American media outlets, I'm no longer going to buy your product. And if they get a lot of people reaching out to them, telling them that, they're going to pull their advertisement because they don't want to be associated with it. That's the reason and that's the very reason why they kicked Kathy Griffin off of CNN, because CNN saw how much it could hurt them.
That's right, man. Stop watching, and they'll start getting paid for advertisements, and that's a great way. It's a great start. It's a great way to start educating yourself, and that's the big problem we run into today is that we as citizens a lot of times we're lazy when it comes to us getting information. We don't read the newspaper anymore. We don't read blogs. We'll turn the TV on or go to social media, and I would seriously highly encourage all of you to stop watching mainstream news media. It's filling you full of lies. I've had probably 300 phone calls in the last 2 days of people asking me, why are you going to racist events? Why are you defending these racist organizations? See, they're only getting that information from these mainstream news media sources, and it's lies. It's absolute lies. Who even know me are believing the lies over believing, what actually happened yesterday and why we were there.
Yeah, you know what? I see that with a lot of people. You get a lot of people that will say one thing about one person, say one thing about another person. You know what? I always judge the person on their actions, on the things that they do. You know what? Because if people knew all of my faults, they probably wouldn't even watch my videos because I have many faults. I'm not perfect. I make mistakes.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm going to make more mistakes. Do I do them intentionally? No. Do I even like my faults? I don't. But I don't publicize them because we have bigger issues than Will's faults. You know, we have so much that's going on in America right now and across the world. It is insane. It's so crazy that I can sit here and we're sitting here even having this conversation in the year 2017 that we still have. And you know what? What really gets me is that the media, they constantly say that it's only white people that are racist, but they never say BLM is racist. They never talk about BLM killing police officers. They never talk about Antifa being a fascist group. And they look just like ISIS. If you ever go out, for those of you that are watching and never Googled Antifa, Google Antifa and then click on images. To me, you almost can't tell the difference between them and ISIS. They look just like ISIS. They are ISIS on American soil. And we need to get rid of this virus, this cancer that has taken over, that is trying to take over America. If we don't, we're subject to lose, and we're going to end up in a battle and a fight here in America that we all do not want.
Agreed. And you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. What happened yesterday, if this continues to happen in other cities across this country, then we are in bad trouble as American citizens. We're losing. We're losing, Will, and we're losing because people would rather sit at home. Being a proud American, it takes a little bit of sacrifice. It takes a little bit of sacrifice if you want to protect these freedoms for your children. You may have to come out on a Saturday once a month, and actually be involved in your town. Start at your local level. People should be running for school board and running for your city mayor spots and your county commission spots. These things start at a local level, and we've spent way too long doing nothing, picking and choosing our battles and saying, we'll fight this battle tomorrow. We're not going to speak out about this because we got to pick and choose our battles. Stop doing that. Fight every battle and start at your local level. So people like American patriots don't have to travel thousands of miles to come to your city when things like this happen. It's already here.
Yeah, I completely agree. Well, hey, I know you're on the road, and you want to tell everyone where you're headed, or no? You just want to keep it to yourself, or?
I'm going home for a couple days. I'm going home. We got a new embroidery machine. I'm gonna start pumping out some AWR hats and get our T-shirts caught back up. We'll be in Portland, Oregon on the 10th. We've got an event on the 2nd in the 2nd of October in Boulder, Colorado. We'll be at the Moore event on the 14th. On the 16th of September. Yep. So, yeah, we've got a lot going on. And man, come out and see us. We'll be at a city near you. I'll see you at Moore, right?
Yeah, I will definitely be at Moore. I already have my ticket. So
right on.
I already have my ticket. I'll be there Friday morning. Very Friday morning. So I'll have all day Friday to try to meet up with different patriots, to try to meet up with people that I normally can't meet up with on the East Coast. I'm hoping Andreas will be there so I can
he will.
So I can meet up with him finally face to face. So speaking of Andreas, really quick, one thing that Andreas, when he was coming on with me, one thing that he brought up, and it was beautiful, and I'm like, dude, why did I think of that? Every hateful group that has ever been created, Antifa, BLM, Black Panthers, Black Bot, Weather Underground, I'm pretty sure KKK, absolutely, yeah, you know exactly where I'm going, KKK, and now ISIS. Every single hateful group that has ever been created or supported by the Democratic Party has been here. Every single one of them. Every single one of them. Every single one. And it's amazing. I'm like, dude, that is brilliant. How come I didn't think of that? Every single one has been created by the Democratic Party, or they supported by the Democratic Party. And we see that today for a fact.
Think about it, Will. Like we talked about earlier, the left trying to create division. Every one of those groups you just named, their main agenda is to divide people. Divide people on ideology, divide people on race, divide people on religion. All of these groups are about creating division, and every one of those groups is created by the Democrat Party to create division. That's what they want. So we as American people, we need to come together more right now. No matter how much you make a year, no matter what kind of car you drive, no matter what color your skin is, no matter who your God is or what religion you are, come together as Americans and let's protect our country for the generations to come.
Yeah, absolutely. And for me, September 16th, the mother of all rallies. I mean, I hope I'm going to be excited to meet you there. I'm going to be excited to meet Outlaw Morgan, even
Yep.
Joe Biggs. I mean, so there's going to be so many people there. I'm just like, for me, it's like really exciting to come together with so many people that love this country, that's on the same accord. I mean, and it's just for me, I get really excited. It's almost like waking up for Christmas, you know, as an adult.
It's gonna be an amazing day.
Yes,
An amazing Patriot barbecue.
yes, it's going to
For
be
sure.
history in the
Yep.
making. I think this is going to be the mother of all rallies for real. And I encourage
Absolutely.
everybody, if you're close to it, if you need to work with people, please go to motherofallrallies.com and find out information, work with people to get there, because this is going to be history. And we're doing this, and I'm going, not because I'm black. Let me get that straight, because I get a lot of people talking about, well, you're only doing it because you're black. I'm not doing it because I'm black. I'm doing it because I love this country, and I want this country to be great again. And I want this country to be successful, and I want this country to remain great.
Yep.
And that's
I'm with
and
you,
that's
brother.
my goal.
I can't wait to see you there. I can't wait to shake your hand, hug your neck, and let me know, man. We'll go out and have lunch.
Absolutely, if not dinner.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah,
Thanks,
hey,
Will.
I want to thank you for coming on with me.
Anytime, man. Anything you need from us, don't hesitate. Remember, I got to talk to you later on this evening, so give me a shout. And, man, have a blessed day.
We'll do. I'll call you as soon as I finish the broadcast. I'm going to say a couple more things, and then I'll give you a caller.
Sounds good. Take care.
All
Bye,
right, take
bye
care.
everybody.
All right, God bless.
Bye.
All right. Hey, I want to thank everybody for watching. It was absolutely awesome to have Mr. Baker on with me. Like I said earlier, motherofallrallies.com. You guys, please go check it out. There's more information there. If you can't if you can't find the information that you want on the motherofallrallies.com, you can reach out to Tommy, the POA. He doesn't have any issues talking to you. His number is actually posted on the page, and he'll give you any information that you want. This is going to be history in the making. All right, UnitedAmericaFirst.com. Thank you guys for watching. Good night and God bless. People with torches to walk through the city, because I mean, my goodness, that's exactly what it looked like. And I don't, you know what? I don't think that everybody was there that was holding a torch was probably racist. Not at all. The problem is that, when you have a few people, the media, all they're going to pull out is the part that they want, where somebody, screaming, white power, or, we need to make sure that the white race stays pure, and, white lives matter. Even when they say those things, it's, that's what the media pulls out. And it could be 5 people out of 1,000 people, but those 5 people say it, then the media and everyone else just assume that everybody there is for the same reason. Why do you think they walked the night before, with all those torches?
To make a statement.
There
was, oh yeah, in the statement that you had, what you observed is probably very, very accurate. I can tell you this: the Unite the Right event had a lot of factions of white supremacy inside of that element, inside of those permits, inside of that Unite the Right event, 06:30, and the event didn't start till noon. So we thought us showing up 2 hours. We hadn't been on the ground probably 15 minutes, and the governor called a state of emergency, and they started calling in the National Guard. We were told by the city police department that we had 15 minutes to disperse from the area, from the park, and we followed the order. We did exactly what we were asked to do. So we'd probably been sitting there almost an hour, probably 6 or 7 blocks away from the park itself, and I get a phone call from somebody it's a member of American Warrior Revolution, saying that they were in a parking garage. It was a woman. She was with her husband and her son. and there was fighting going on in the parking garage, and she couldn't leave. She was trapped in. So me and the 26 other people that were with me decided to go the 6 blocks to the parking garage she was at and try to help her out so she could leave with her family. We got to the garage and got all that taken care of, and on our way back out to the parking lots.
So go ahead and bring him on. Hello, Mr. Baker.
What's going on, Will? How are you, brother?
What's going on? I see you're traveling.
Yeah, on the road.
Yeah.
My life story.
Yeah. So hey, I saw your video yesterday, and man, it was very powerful. And you know, when I was looking at the video, the first thing I was thinking about, I said, man, you know what? There is a revolution that's going on in America, and I think this thing is bigger than any of us can imagine. And I think it's actually bigger than any of us actually anticipated it getting to at this point. You know, so if you would just go ahead and give us your take again, just like a recap on your video from what you did last night, and if you don't mind.
The event yesterday was supposed to start at noon. When we got there, it was about 9:45 in the morning, almost 10 o'clock in the morning. So we were there a few hours early, and by the time we got there, there had already been a lot of violence beforehand. Before we even arrived on scene, before me and my organization, my group, even got on the ground, we were watching live feeds, and we thought we were early. But there were people there at the park that were there at 0600. We were parked at. We encountered crazy amounts of opposition. We encountered Black Lives Matter and Black Bloc and Redneck Revolt, some small factions and groups of Antifa, but mostly it was Black Lives Matter and Black Bloc.
So let me ask you a question. So
sure.
The night before, I think it was Friday night, there was a group of people walking around, and I don't know if you were among those group of people, but they were walking around with torches.
Saw that. I saw that on Facebook.
Yeah, so I just want to get your opinion on it. So when I saw when I saw the group of people that was walking around with torches, the first thing that came to my mind was, you know, back in, you know, like the 50s and the 40s and probably some of the late 60s.
Mob.
Yeah, it looked like a lynch mob, and a lot of people associated that with, you know, like with the KKK. So I can understand how a lot of people would probably perceive it as taking it completely wrong. One question that I had was, whose idea was it to give all of these? All right. All right, we are live. Let me share this real quick to my personal page. All right, you shared everywhere else? All right, hello everybody. Thank you for watching. Today we have Ace Baker on with us, and we're going to talk about what took place yesterday. Yesterday I went on live, and we had a couple people call in, and they gave us their opinion what took place yesterday. So, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and bring Ace Baker in with us, so we can talk about what took place yesterday, and from his point of view. He actually did a video yesterday that was very informative, that was right on point, in my opinion.